It's Friday, April 16, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. An urgent plea from Health Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic for anyone who has come into contact with the growing COVID-19 cluster from the World Harvest Ministries Church in St. Peter to contact health authorities. In today's national COVID-19 update, he reported that all 9 new positive cases recorded today stems from the church, and he's concerned that some people appear to be evading authorities.
So I appeal to all Barbadians in general, but particularly to all persons associated with the church in the north, that cluster. If you have not yet been contacted by Ministry of Health officials, it is because 1, we have not been told about your exposure, and 2, in cases where we have been told, we've not been able to find you because I would have to say that you are hiding. Now, this is a serious thing. And it's a serious thing because we cannot afford to slip up. We cannot afford to slip up. And even if you do not care about your own health and wellness and your well-being, I care. The Ministry of Health cares. The government of Barbados, we care. And so we want to find you, because if you remain in hiding, if you remain knowing that you have symptoms and you present too late, it could be detrimental to your health.
In other news, the Grantley Adams International Airport was back in business this evening after an intensive cleanup operation resulting from the ashfall from the Soufriere volcano. Tourism Minister Lisa Cummins says the first flight was on track for this evening.
The regional security system continues. Obviously, it's based here in Barbados and by the airport, and we are hoping will be flying as early as tonight as well. So we are going to be working closely with them. I know that the airport team has been in constant contact with the regional security systems team, and there will be some further update in due course, but they will very much be the anchor of the humanitarian support. Now, in terms of commercial flights, we have just issued earlier this evening the notice to the various airlines, and so they will be communicating with us about what their flight schedules are expected to be over the coming days. We have the expectation that tomorrow we will have around maybe 5 to 6 flights coming through potentially, because as you would have imagined, over the course of 7 days or so with the airport having been closed, there are a number of people who are either here or who are abroad who have wanted to come home.
Several other key government departments are expected to wrap up their cleaning this weekend and reopen for business on Monday. Home Affairs Minister Wilfred Abrams disclosed these include the Barbados Port Inc. and the island's fish markets. Meanwhile, the national cleanup is expected to continue in earnest at the weekend. Abrams announced that a full assessment of the impact of the ashfall will begin on Monday.
This is being led by the Ministry of Economic Affairs along with the Ministry of Home Affairs. This will provide both a qualitative and financial costing of the impact of the hazard, identify and detail our resource needs, and allow us to be very specific in our request for assistance to deal with our post-event recovery. This is an intensive, rapid assessment for which we have already started gathering critical information. It covers agriculture, infrastructure, technology, utilities, and every sector that we expect to have been affected by the ashfall.
The ashfall has begun to take a toll on the island's livestock and pets, and Senior Veterinary Officer Dr. Mark Trotman is urging farmers and pet owners to take action now.
What we're seeing happening is that a lot of animals, several animals are coming down with respiratory problems, coughing, sneezing, ocular and nasal discharges. These are the acute signs of inhalation of the ash, and this is already manifesting itself across the island. And so that is something that pet owners, I'll talk about pet owners first of all, need to be very cognizant of that. Try to keep your pets either indoors or in some sort of sheltered structure, especially during ashfall periods.
Over the last 2 days, there has been a significant reduction in ashfall activity, but the director of the UWI Seismic Research Center cautions the island is not out of the woods just yet.
We are saying that the volcano continues to erupt, although the explosive activity is somewhat diminishing in intensity, but that does not mean that it's ended at this time. So we, in its current pattern of seismicity may indicate that there's periodic growth of a lava dome, but this has not been confirmed. So we hope to see satellite images, to help us see, how big a dome is growing, if there is a dome. But what can also happen is that this dome is continuously destroyed, by any explosion, such as the one that happened this morning. And then it has to rebuild itself, and then it acts like a little plug, and it keeps doing it. But the good thing is that in the last few days, we've not seen the kind of energetic explosions that this volcano can produce. It hasn't happened, which means there was less gas in the system to propel that material high up into the atmosphere to be able to take it across by winds to Barbados and neighboring islands.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, Raul Castro says he's resigning as leader of Cuba's Communist Party, ending his family's 6 decades in power. 89-year-old Castro told a party congress that he's handing over the leadership to a younger generation full of passion and anti-imperialist spirit. His successor will be voted in at the end of the 4-day congress.
This was the last time they were seen together. Raul Castro, with a clenched fist raised by his brother Fidel. Besides them, Cuban leaders sang La Internacional, the anthem that identifies communists around the world. 5 years on, the last name Castro could soon no longer be part of not only Cuba's government, but also in the leadership of the Communist Party, PCC, the political institution which has governed the Caribbean nation since the 1960s. On Friday, April 16th, the PCC opens its 8th Congress that could move aside the generation of leaders who made the revolution. The shift takes place amid the worst economic crisis in decades, the novel impact of social networks on the relationship of citizens with the government, and the unusual pressure from the United States. The PCC is the only party with legal status in Cuba, and its mission, order in the Constitution, is to guide and direct society, drawing up policies and enforcing them.
On the international front, Ukraine's president says there's no time to lose in resolving tensions in the east of the country. He was in Paris for talks with French counterpart Emmanuel Macron on Friday amid concern over a Russian military buildup on Ukraine's border and a surge in fighting.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for European support. President Emmanuel Macron and Zelensky met in Paris and were joined by Angela Merkel via video link on Friday. Moscow had asked the French president and German chancellor to put pressure on Kiev to stop what it says is Kiev's provocation in eastern Ukraine. The three leaders agreed that a diplomatic council will meet on Monday, and a further gathering should be between France, Germany, the UK and Russia. At the press conference, our Euronews international correspondent Annalise Gorges asked the Ukrainian president if France and Germany would stand by him.
We need now to move very quick. Sorry, I understand that it's our problem, but I think that it's not only our problem, that is the safety of Europe. If all the Europe will understand that it's safety for all Europe, and we'll move together very quick, from words to correctly to direct steps.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.